Hi guys, Samantha from Jessama Tutorials here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Lisa Pavelka Peel. Now, what you're going to start with is a block of clay. Doesn't matter what clay you're using. I'm using black Polymer today, but you can experiment around and see what clay you could use. You could even use a Skinner blend, but today I'm just going to be using plain black. And then you're also going to need silver leaf. Now, when you're working with silver leaf, you want all of your doors and windows closed, because this stuff blows around all over the place and any wind will pick it up in a flash. So you want to try to avoid wind to a certain degree. So any fans, they need to be turned off as well. And also, if you should also be careful how hard you breathe as well. So I'm just going through here. I keep all my scraps in the front, like you can see, but you're going to need a whole sheet for this project. The scraps I will use in a different tutorial. I use it in many of my Makumegano tutorials, and I'll include a few of them in the links below if you're interested. But you'll want to take your silver leaf, and so you can see it's very light. It's lighter than a feather really, and you want to lay this over your clay. Now you want to make sure that you've positioned it right before you let it touch your clay, because once it's touched it will stick instantly. And so you want to then smooth it out and get rid of any air bubbles that you might have in there, because the air bubbles will cause problems later on when we're texturing it. Just like that, and just smooth it out, make sure that it's nice and flat, and then you're left with all of this excess. So you'll just take your blade and cut out that excess. Just like that. Now this stuff tears very easily, so it's probably not going to come up all in one sheet when you pick up the excess. Now I cut the clay so that I can get rid of it quickly. There we go. Okay, and then if you've got a little bit of excess, just smooth along the edges to get rid of it. I'll just close this up over here. There. And that will get rid of any problems. Okay, then you're going to go and get a texture sheet. I'm using Lisa Pavelka's Love Letter stamp, but you can use any stamp you wish. I personally like the Love Letter stamp. Now I'm going to just take my blade, pick it up, and we've got some silver leaf on the tile, so you can see that it sticks to anything really, so you don't really want it flying around because it can get stuck to things. Like in my case, when I first took this video, it got stuck on the camera, so I had to retake. But anyway, you'll take your stamp and position it facing up. Then you'll take your clay and you'll lay it over your stamp with the silver leaf facing down. Now usually you would want to spray water on your stamp, but because we've got silver leaf involved in this, the silver leaf acts as a release agent. And then also in other tutorials that I've shown, I show that you spray the surface of the clay. Now you want to do this here to prevent sticking, but you want to be careful where you spray. You don't really want to get too much of it on your silver leaf. And then you'll start pressing it into the stamp. Now go slow with this because you can still get some lift ups, and you want to start from one side of your texture sheet and work your way up. And what I'm doing, because I'm doing The reason I'm doing that is because you want to get rid of any air bubbles, and this will prevent air bubbles. So I'll just carry on doing that. Now I like using the silver metal leaf because I find that the gold and the copper can rust because of course they contain copper. The silver seems to only contain zinc, so it doesn't rust. So you could use the copper or the gold, but you want to use it straight away. So if you're going to store your sheet for any length of time, I'd recommend only using the silver because the copper and the gold disintegrate into the clay, literally. So once you're finished, you just want to lift this up carefully and put this to the side, and this is what you will be left with. Now you need to dry your area. Okay, so I've dried the back of the clay, and the reason you want to do that is because you want it to be stuck to the tile while you're proceeding to the next step. So next step requires some sellotape. Now I'm just using this clear type. You can use any sellotape. You'll just take it, lay it over your silver leaf, and take some care to actually press it into the clay so that you're almost flattening out the texture a little bit, and this will give you a clearer pattern. So I press down on it to get the texture, well, the sellotape to go down into the grooves just a tiny bit. This takes practice because if you go too far you will lose your silver leaf in the grooves, but if you don't go enough you'll end up with something that's not as clear as it could be. So just take a little bit of time, and this takes practice, but it's not too difficult. And then you'll just carry on doing that. Now the tape can be used in mixed media projects like scrapbooking. I give them to my sister Jessica, and she uses it in her scrapbooking, though she's not doing much at the moment. So you'll just proceed to do that. It's very quick. Now, sometimes you'll miss an area. You just want to go back and get that. And then just take your time, just take a bit of time to make sure that you've got all the excess leaf off, just to make sure that you've got the best pattern that you can get. I missed a few areas that I'll just go back and get. Okay, so that's about it. And that is really all there is to it. Now, when I put my sellotape away, I just like to put a little fold in it, like that, and that helps me find the end of the sellotape when I want to use it again. So, just a quick tip. So that's really all there is to the technique. You'll just take your blade and lift it up, and I'll bring this up for you to see. And there we are. Now this is a great substitute to ink. So you can get metallic inks, but inks are quite expensive and sometimes you can't even get hold of them. So this technique is great for that. And that is actually what I use it to a large extent for. I use it as a substitute for inks. Not the alcohol, not the alcohol inks, the ones that you ink up your stamp and then you press it into the clay. I use this as a substitute for it. So I'm just going to bring over some examples, which I have over here. Here's one that I did with a different texture. Same clay, same metal leaf, I just use Lisa Pavelka's foliage stamp for this one. And so if I bring this one over, you can see that it's a completely different look. Just bring that for you to see. And then here are some projects that I've used the Lisa Pavelka Peel in. Here's some cute little beads that I made. And there were some of my first beads actually that I was really happy with. And you can see that I have the technique just over here. And that was the letter one as well. And then I also have a green pair of those. And these, there you can see that the Lisa Pavelka Peel was done over there, and this is a Hidden Magic Mukume Gane, and I'll be showing that in a tutorial very soon, so I'll provide a link to that tutorial whenever I'm done. And here's some other beads which I tried out, and this one was done with the silver leaf, but instead of just doing it on plain black clay, I actually did it on top of a Skinner blend using one of Sculpey's translucent plastics texture sheets, and this is what came out. So you can see that adding a Skinner blend can add some interest to it. So those are just a few examples of what I have done with this technique, just so that it can give you some ideas to what you can do with it. And so I hope this video was helpful to you, and if it was, do check out the links below. If you're on YouTube, I will have a link to my tutorial, to my website actually, jessamaTutorials.com. And if you're on my website, do check below the video, as there will be a form down there where you can submit your pictures showing what you did with this technique. Be sure to check that out, as I'm sure that many of you will try out this technique and will want to share your findings. So please do send in some pictures. I look forward to seeing them. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.